Okay, so to start building that top layer, I'm going to use some Max for Live instruments. First of all, I'm going to use one called Bassline, which is an actual instrument. Drag that over here, and it's kind of like a emulator of the Roland 303. That's not kind of what I'm going to use it for. It's not the sound I'm going for, but it also just generates a nice tone, which is what I want. So I'm going to copy down the MIDI information that we've written for our bass line. Solo the track. All right, let's have a listen to it. So that's it playing on its own. And we're going to come down to this waveform, turn the sub oscillator off, turn the mod wave down as well. Probably going to switch it to a square wave. But that sounds pretty nice already. Change the filter type to 24 so it works a bit harder. And then I'm going to just bring this cutoff down, I think. Right, that's pretty much what I want, pretty simple. Just going to add a little bit of release on the amp envelope. And a little bit of attack. Just to get rid of those clicks, and then just to mirror that, a little bit of release on the filter envelope. Right, that's sounding really nice. Nice and simple. So I'm going to use another Max instrument now, a Max audio effect, brand new for Live 9. This is really one of my favourite things in Live 9 actually. It's just an LFO unit. Really, really simple, but a completely assignable LFO. So I'm going to change it to sync. I'm going to bring the rate to eighths. Bring that depth down a bit. Now, all I do is I click this little map button here, and I can now map this to anywhere, any parameter within Live 9. I'm just going to go for the cutoff of the bassline synth. So you can see that that's instantly starts modulating it. I could choose any parameter here, but I'm just going to go for the cutoff just to keep it simple. So one thing to note when you are using this LFO is that once you've mapped it to a parameter, that parameter itself or the knob itself becomes unusable. I can't use this cutoff anymore, but I can use this offset function here on the LFO to essentially control this parameter here. So if I put it down, the cutoff closes. If I boost it up, the cutoff opens. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, that kind of nice little kind of wobbly, chuggy bass line. Let's have a listen to that. Alright, that's the kind of starting place I'm looking for. Bring this depth down a touch. Actually, I'm going to push it up a bit. And then bring the cutoff down a touch. Right, excellent. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So next up, I want to use another Max for Live effect. This time it's just the auto filter. Where is it? It's pretty much the same as the standard live auto filter, but it's just got a couple of extra little options, and to my ears it just sounds a little nicer. So let's solo our bassline synth, and I'm just going to change it to a low pass. I'm going to boost the Q up quite a bit so we start getting that kind of really distorted. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. That kind of mid-range tone. So it's really bringing out that characteristic mid. So I'm going to set it about here. Then I'm going to go for another LFO. And yep, you guessed it, I'm going to modulate this offset or cut off with this LFO. I think I'm going to go for like a ramp up, sync it, and I think we're going to go for quite a longer one this time, maybe a bar or 2 bars. So something like that, in fact. Maybe just smooth it off so it's not quite so jerky. There we go. Real simple, real simple. So let's have a listen to that in context. Okay, I'm just going to come back to this first LFO, change the phase. That's what I was after. And might just bring that depth down a touch. So you can see with these 2 LFOs using the depths and the phase and the offsets, you can get some really cool options, loads of different things to do here. So we close this filter up a bit. That's nice, I like that. I really like that kind of overdriven, kind of resonant mid. So next, I want to bring that out using a saturator on this channel. I'm just going to drive it, turn the soft clip on and drive it a touch. Just to really bring that kind of mid-tone, that kind of honky mid-tone, bring that out a bit. Turn this output back down a bit. So all I've done is just turn that drive up a touch. There, that's really nice. So what that saturator will do, it will kind of exaggerate any of the kind of changes that these 2 LFOs are having over the cut-off frequencies. So if I open this original one back up a bit, you can hear you've got a really exaggerated filter cut-off now. Take that back down. Okay, that's working for me. I want to have a look at now the new Convolution reverb in Live 9, which is another max for live effect. And I'm going to use the gated snare preset. So if you don't know about Convolution reverb, it uses what's called an impulse response to kind of model the reverb time and the kind of reverb characteristics of a particular space or a particular type of reverb. So this one I've chosen is like a gated drum reverb. Sounds really nice out of the box. And what I'm going to do is probably just pull the dry wet in a bit. Probably a bit more, yeah, about 15 to 20, somewhere around there. I'm going to go into the EQ tab. I'm just going to cut these bottom low frequencies out, and this kind of mid frequency around here, just boost that and then cut these highs. Probably bring this output out, so output down so it doesn't clip on the output. And I'm just going to boost those mids until I'm happy with it. And probably bring the wet up a little bit more. Possibly bring the decay time in. So we're always using the kind of reverb output of this convolution reverb as an EQ, as a further EQ to give that bass sound some characteristics. So without it, and then with it. So you see it's pretty powerful. I'm going to take this wet down a bit too much because I don't want to drown out that mix. But I think that's working for me. And now I'm going to add some simple chorus. Adding a high pass just to make sure we're kind of only getting those real high frequencies, so the lows are not getting the lows are not getting interfered with. Probably take that wet down. And probably take this rate right down. Okay, and then just bring that mix back down a little bit. This chorus is just going to add a little bit of movement and a little bit of kind of stereo kind of width. Touch of feedback. And that's it really. I think that's kind of it for our top end bass sound. So if you turn all of these off, the chorus, the convolution reverb, the saturator, the max filter, and this original LFO, you can see how we've used just a couple of simple steps to really build this bass sound up. If we turn all these back on, you can really see how it's starting to give it a lot of character. And if we come back to our LFOs, we've got loads of different modulation options, and they're all kind of going through these carefully organized saturator, then convolution, then chorus settings. So it's all going to sound good basically. So set that back to where it was, and then I want to have a look at using the glue compressor as we did before. Group these tracks and have a look at the using that glue compressor to just kind of squash these and join these together. So again, get the glue compressor, and I'm going to use this gentle dynamics, or controlled dynamics rather, preset. I'm going to put that on our group, and then I'm going to solo that group, or solo the two tracks within the group, and just get it so the compressor is really kicking into action on these louder kind of notes. Right, that's pretty much it. I might take the release off auto. Around about there, just to make sure that this VU meter drops back to 0. At the beginning of each bar. Right, that's working pretty much as I want that to work. One thing I actually should do, which I haven't done yet, is take the bottom end out of this new bass that we've got, the top end bass, because we don't need that bottom in there. So I'm going to get the EQ8 and set that to ×4, and probably up to about 80 hertz, something like that. About 85 hertz, just getting rid of those lows so that they can be replaced with that lovely clean sub that we've got. Let's have a look at that compressor again. So we can probably make that work a little harder now. Right, so that's basically doing what I want it to do now. We've used this glue compressor just to kind of really glue those together, make that sub and the top layer of that bass come together and sound as one. So what this will also do, having the compressor on the group, it means that if we do any kind of really wild kind of like big filter sweeps like that, we know that we've got that compressor on the group and it's just going to be keeping everything nice and sort of solid, keeping everything gelled together. Right, so we've got bassline, we've got some drums. Just going to bring that group and this bassline down a touch. Just to make them sit better with the drums. Right, that's sounding really, really nice. And we know that we've got loads of options. So when we come to arrange this piece of music, this little track that we've got going on here, we've got loads of options for modulation with that bass line.